Beginning of this year, I sat down and I set some goals, and those are my financial goals, personal goals, and career goals. And I told myself that these were things that I wanted to work on in the year 2024. I wanted to achieve these things. And so on today's video, we're going to be looking back, we're going to be reflecting on what were those goals. Was I able to achieve them? What is it that I wasn't able to achieve? So that as I plan for 2025, it is clear where I stand. And that way I will know that these are the things that I would like to continue working on if I didn't achieve them, or we can scrap them all together and plan afresh. So that is what we're going to be doing today. This video is just more so just reflecting on year 2024 in terms of my financial goals. What is it that went well? What is it that didn't go well? What did I change my mind on? Especially when it comes to my approach or my strategy as it pertains to my finances, I changed a lot of things mid-year. So let us get into it. For anyone who's new here, I am Jennifer Ngumalo. I'm a public servant, a content creator, and a businesswoman. I create content around personal finances, career, as well as lifestyle. If any of those pillars are something that you're interested in and you would like to join us, please make sure that you click that red subscribe button on the bottom, and also don't forget to smash that like button. That is if you're enjoying this video. And for everyone who's been here, who is part of this Gen gang, this growing family, I do appreciate each and every one of you. Please make sure that you smash that like button because it does help a lot, you guys. If there's anything I'm going to ask of you, it is to smash that like button. Smash that like button. It doesn't cost you anything. And also, if you are new here, don't forget to join us by clicking that red subscribe button on the bottom. Guys, I feel like we're going to close off 2024 with 40,000 subscribers in this channel. And I started this year, remember in my vision board, I put that I want to achieve 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. At that point, had I just reached 20K beginning of the year? I don't know. No, we had not reached 20K beginning of the year. No, we're close to 20K, but I just told myself that I would love to reach 50K, and we are going to close off this year with 40K, which is just 10,000 subscribers short of reaching the 50K mark that I had put in my vision board. Just goes to show that if you put an intention on something and you put it out there, the universe does conspire to meet you halfway. And so I want to say welcome to everyone who is new, who just joined this family. I hope that you enjoy this content. I hope that you enjoy my channel. I hope that you can relate to the things that I speak on. And more than anything, I'm hoping that this does inspire you and does trigger something within you to just want more or better for your life. With that being said, let us get into my goals for 2024. So I've got my journal right here. This is the Every Cent Financial Journal, the version 1. So I put my goals here under the goals section. There. Okay, so we're just going to go into my financial goals. We're not going to go into any other goals, but just my financial goals. As I said, this video is more so on my financial goals. And that is because, honestly, the type of goals that I like to set are the financial goals. I love setting financial goals. I feel like they're easy for me to track. I feel like it's easy for me to see my progress and also to see what I'm working towards. And they actually make me happy. Like, achieving my financial goals honestly makes me happy. It does. And I know that it may come across as, oh, Jenny, it's handy. Yes, I do. I do. And I'm not ashamed to say so, you know? And so I'm just going to get into it. So the first one, I had 2 main goals, and then those goals were broken down into action items or things action items for me to know that I am working closer to this main goal. So the first main goal was I wanted to save and invest over 100,000 in 2024. Now it is broken down into 4 components in terms of my action items. So the first one was to max out my tax-free investment, and that is 36,000 per year. I've done many videos about this. I've done a couple, not many. I've done a couple of videos about this, explaining what is a tax-free account and how much and so forth. And yes, I did max out my tax-free account for 2024. And the platform that I use for this is EasyEquities, because EasyEquities does have the tax-free component. And I like the way that it gives you an idea of, if let's say for instance you haven't maxed it out, it will tell you how much you still have to put in order for you to max it out. And the moment you put more than that, they just transfer the money to your EasyEquities portfolio, the ZAR account. So that is what I did. I did max it out. When I got my bonus in May, I maxed it out, which was a good thing for me, because honestly, When I was setting these goals, I had broken it down that I'm gonna put this much from my bonus and this much from my business and so forth, because at that time when I was creating these goals, I had not gotten a promotion, I had not gotten a new job, so I was still in my previous job, so the salary here was still a bit lower. So I knew that I wanted to max it out, but in terms of how I was gonna max it out, it had so many components. But because of my promotion, maxing it out became easy, because when I got my bonus money, I just took the 36,000 and put it in there. And then the second goal of mine, I wanted to invest. Okay, not second goal. Second component to me working towards this 100,000 was to invest for wealth building, and this was, I put a target of 36,000. Now I remember when I set this goal, I had just opened my second goal with Frank Group app. In that video, beginning of the year, my goal setting video, I had partnered with Frank Group, and I created a second goal because with Frank you don't just get one goal, you're able to have more than one goal. But if you've got a pro account, obviously you get more than two goals. I think if you get about 3 goals. And so I had created a wealth goal, and I was very clear on why I wanted to invest towards wealth and what I wanted to use this money on. And my plan was to say I'm going to invest for wealth building for a period of 5 years. Every month I'll put away 3,000. Every month I'll put away 3,000, and then by end of 5 years I'll take that money and pay off my house, or basically just put money into my house, which will decrease how much I owe. So that was the plan behind this. Now for a while in the year I was doing this until, let me just see on my savings tracker, I'll tell you just now, because on my savings tracker right here I did put in what I was doing. So wealth building, I did it for January and February, and I only put 2.5 in both months. After that I didn't do it, and I think around April or May, that's when I changed my strategy in terms of my goal setting, my financial goals. So I only put money in there for 2 months. However, I continued to use the money as my second element towards my emergency fund within Frank Group. And I just thought to myself, okay, if I just have this one main account, I'll be fine. And then I'll have a secondary one, which would be this wealth one, but then it will still form part of my emergency fund, of which I later on changed. If you go to my portfolio now, it looks totally different. So on my emergency fund, I was depositing money. I've been putting money there. It's just that I started off slow, but then I became aggressive from May going forward, and I've been aggressive since. And then let's go back to other action items. So the other action items that I had in here was to save 33,000 on my easy equities. I wanted to actually invest because how can I save on easy equities? And then I wanted to invest 13,200 on my emergency fund. I don't know what was the logic behind these calculations. I felt like I think as I went on in the year, I felt like there were too many moving pieces. I don't know if you get my point, if you get my drift. There were too many moving pieces. As a result, trying to track all of these things was just tedious, and I didn't feel like it, and it felt like a lot. I also felt like I was like this, I had so much going on that I had no focus. Whatever progress that I was making was not evident as I would have loved it to be, because I was just spread too thin. And I think that me changing my saving and investment strategy or goal setting strategy beginning of the year honestly helped me to reach this goal of 100,000, because I think if I had not done that, reaching this goal of 100,000 in 2024 was not going to be easy, because there were just too many moving pieces. So what had happened here, I also put here one of the action items was to save for property buying, and I wanted to save 30,000, and also save for school fees for 2024. Now for school fees, I definitely did save for that. I think we have about 15,000 or something like that for school fees under the stokvel, because that's where I save for it. But then when it comes to property buying, I had thought that I want to buy property. Guys, sometimes I love the new journals, because the new journals, they have this question where they ask you why. Especially when it comes to your goals. If you say you want to do something, why do you want to do it? Because now looking back, 11 months in into me setting these goals, I'm realizing that I don't remember why is it that I wanted to buy property, but clearly I wanted to buy property. So I didn't actually, something that I just thought I was not even gonna do, so I did not even save towards buying property. I did not even save this 30,000, because for me, I also think that my why was not clear. So what happened was, I then changed my strategy around April, May. I changed my strategy. Instead of being all over, I decided that I want to be focused. I looked at my finances and I asked myself, what is a priority right now? What would be the thing that if I were to do, I would be able to say, you know what, you have done well, or you have achieved your goals? What would be the thing that if I were to achieve, also it will make me happy and satisfied in the progress that I have made? Saving all of these things, small things, investing all of these bitty things was not going to give me that. I needed to just have one target and focus on that target. And for me, there is saving and investing 100,000 on my emergency fund. Besides my tax-free, that one I maxed it out in May. I was able to take my bonus and max it out. But then there was this issue now that I had not reached my goal in my emergency fund. Now, I wanted to make sure that I have 6 months worth of living expenses on my emergency fund by the end of 2024, which means that I wanted to have 100,000 in my emergency fund by the end of 2024. And as you know, I keep my emergency fund under Frank. I invested in the money market. 75% of that goes towards the money market. The other percentages, they go towards the Cetrix Top 40 as well as the S&P 500. That's how I've broken it down. And then they later on introduced the component of saving. So in those savings now, that's where I decided that, you know what, this is going to be my secondary part of my emergency fund, where at least 30,000 is going to be saved here so that I can access it anytime that I need it. It is not going to be subjected to the JSE market, or how the economy is looking at the time. That is the strategy that I decided to go with. And having that clear goal, you guys, gave me so much motivation. I remember when I shared that on this platform, I also shared it on my social media platform, that I honestly felt so energized. I felt like, you know what, this is something that makes sense to me. Instead of all these small things, I just now have a goal, and it's very clear. Make sure that you reach 100,000 by the end of this year. And that is what I wanted to work on. And so I started working towards that. And what I like now is that instead of having all of these things that I was putting money on, I just clumped it together and I said, okay, this much money is going to go towards my emergency fund. And my goal was to at least put in 10,000 per month. Now, not every month were the same. Some months were difficult, so I could not get to 10,000. But some months I was able to put in 10,000. And some months I was able to put even more than that. I still have my child's education fund over and above the stokvel where we put money for her school fees, but there's also the education fund, which I also keep with Frank Group. So that one was also growing because every month I'm putting in 1,100. So around October, was it October? August, September, around September, October there, I did look back and calculated how much I had saved so far, how much I had saved and invested, and I realized that I had reached my goal of 100,000 before the year was even over. So for me, that was amazing. That was honestly amazing. And I felt like, you know what, girl, you have done well, because the goal that you had set for yourself, you were able to achieve way before the year had ended. So that for me relieved so much pressure, because I was just like, okay, the goal that you had set for yourself beginning of the year, which is to save and invest 100,000, you've done it, and you still have 3 months to go. So you are good to go, bruh. Like, you are good. You've done well for yourself, But now I then took it up the notch and said, you know what, I want 100,000 on my emergency fund. Now, I was doing very well for a while there. I was doing well for a while. I think I had gone up to 90-something thousand, 91,000. And then life hit me. And I was not expecting it. Firstly, I got a bill from MTN that I owe them 7,000 something. And that was because one of my contact numbers, which I took on behalf of my sister, got lost. And someone who found it decided to just make as much calls and do everything that they wanted to do. And when that bill came came at my door, and it came just after I came back from home, after spending so much money at home, by the way, and then coming back to be hit by that bill. I felt so defeated. But then I was just like, okay, the reason why you save and do all these things is so that you are able to deal with such unexpected things, So I withdrew money from my savings to be able to pay for this thing. And then the following month, which is this month now, I paid for that bill, and then I got hit again with another bill from MTN now of 4,900. I had thought that the worst was over, and I'm still waiting for me to make that payment. The money is there. I was able to withdraw again from my emergency fund. We did do a swim swap eventually, but by the time we did the swim swap, we had not known that so much damage was made. So I decided that I wanted to cancel the number, but now they told me I can't cancel the number without paying off this phone because they're both linked. Now they said for me to pay off this phone, I'll incur a penalty. So I withdrew money under my goal of wealth. I withdrew all the money in there, and the idea behind it was I wanted to just cancel the goal. I still want to cancel that goal, or I'm just gonna change it to something else. I did change it to something else. Actually, let's go to my friend group app, because you know that I honestly do not have a problem. I don't have a problem sharing my portfolios with you. Maybe it's because I feel safe with you guys, and I'm hoping that you guys, you're not gonna look at this and then ningbizeli gebeng and so forth, and I always do this because I believe in transparency, you guys. If someone says I've invested 100,000 or 200,000, and they're a person that is a content creator or someone that speaks a lot on finances, I want to see it. I'm just that type of a person. And I think that's also why I enjoy so much of the international content when it comes to personal finances, because those girls, they are transparent. Even those guys, they're actually very transparent. Like, they'll take you through their portfolios of investment, so you see how their money is growing. And I feel like here in our country, we are very, and I know it's because of crime, so we are very we close off things. But then what we don't understand is, for someone to see it, it gives them more perspective. Okay, so there's a guy who's coming to collect the last orders for the year. Let's just go quickly here on my portfolio. I'm recording here. So now we've got my emergency fund savings. That is the normal savings. Here I had put in 8,000. I withdrew all of that 8,000. Whatever money that you're seeing in here, it's new money that I deposited a few days ago. And then I've got my investments goal, which is my emergency fund. Now that is here, it's still there. And then remember that wealth goal that I created beginning of the year, in the video where I was setting my goals for 2024, I changed it. If you remember, I said I withdrew money from here. I changed it, and I changed it to property or car. And that is because I'm going to take you guys through some of my goals for 2025. But for now, this is where we are sitting. This is how my portfolio is broken down now under Frank. So that is where I am currently when it comes to my goal of reaching 100,000. So I've not reached 100,000. I'm on 80. Let me just go back again. So currently I'm sitting at 85,723 rands and 98 cents, and a profit of that is 5,399, which is very good. I wanted so bad. I wanted so bad. I would be lying if I say I didn't want this. I wanted so bad to reach 100,000 on my emergency fund, and my intention up until a day or two ago was to actually reach 100,000. Now, the issue that disturbed me honestly was the issue of going home. That disturbed me a lot. And then the bills that became unexpected when it comes to MTN, they really affected me. Now I still haven't gotten paid from YouTube. My goal was to say, when I get paid from YouTube, because we made more money than I've ever made on YouTube in the past. I think I'm going to get paid around 16,000 this month from the earnings in November. So like I wanted to take majority of that and just max out and reach on and put that on my emergency fund under Frank. That way I can reach my 100,000 goal. I don't think that I'm going to reach my goal of 100,000 by the time we close off this year. I don't even want to flatter myself. I've already gotten paid. The only salary that I'm waiting on now is the YouTube one, and that is something that I feel like I want to keep for the moving out and the moving in. So that's where I am when it comes to that goal. Now I'm sad. I'm honestly sad. I'm bummed that I'm not going to be able to do this. And if I was like honestly crazy, what I would do is actually I would actually take that money and max out my goal. But I'm just thinking, nah man, let me not do that. Maybe what I'll do is I will deposit maybe at least 6,000 to take me to 90,000, to take me back to where I'm coming from before all of this shenanigans started happening that took me back down, so maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just put in 6,000 so that I can get to 90,000. But getting to 100,000 is something that I know that I'm not even gonna front and try to push. It's just if I want to be practical with the finances as well as the cost of the things that are going to be happening going forward, it's just not practical. But the goal that I had put here beginning of the year, which is to save 100,000, save and invest 100,000, I did achieve. So I do pat myself on the back for that one. I'm honestly, there's something on my eye. Okay, I'm honestly pretty proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. Okay, and then the second part of my financial goal, which is the last part, was to save up for my sinking funds. Now, I wanted to create a December sinking fund, a home essential sinking fund, and a birthday sinking fund. Now, I started with the December sinking fund for a few months. Like if I can go back to my savings tracker, I did it for a few months, and then I realized that we changed my strategy to canceling all these many things and just focusing on my emergency fund. And I think that's why I was able to make so much progress on my emergency fund. And then home essentials, I was doing this, and this honestly helped. It helped a lot. It helped a lot because I knew that every month I just had the money that I can tap into for me to buy anything for the home. And I think I'm definitely going to be doing the sinking fund for home next year, given the fact that we are moving, we're getting bigger space and so forth, and so we won't really need to finish that, but to style it we'll definitely need some money. And buying things for styling can cost a bit. So home essentials sinking fund, I eventually just dropped it. And then the last one was the birthday. A birthday sinking fund is something that I did up until the last birthdays that I felt like it's important for me to save for. And that was after my daughter and then my partner and then me. I was just like, okay, I'm good now. I'm good now. So I did do the sinking fund for birthdays, but I stopped then, which is really, doesn't make sense because now my daughter's birthday is in February, my partner's birthday is in April, my birthday is in May. So when am I gonna get time to now build up the savings for those birthdays? I don't know. But besides that, when we look at my financial goals, I've really achieved so much. I've achieved what I said that I wanted to achieve. Yes, my strategy changed sometime in the year, but I'm glad that I did change it. And it's also to say to you, just because beginning of the year, you say that these are things that you want to do and this is how you want to do them, doesn't mean that you will do them that way. Over time, you realize that this is not working. Let me try this way. This is not serving me. Let me try this thing. And so give yourself that leeway to say you will change your mind. Things will start not making sense to you, or you'll get new revelations when it comes to how you want to do things. Give yourself that freedom to make those changes when the time comes. So you're gonna close off this video. My camera overheated and it shut off by itself. What I want to do is I want to sit down and look at my finances, look at my potential income for 2024, and then plan out to say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. Yes, that I've got an idea that I want to double my goal now for my emergency fund, but how practical is it? How long would it take for me to do that? And also with my other things that I want to work on, how will I be able to achieve those things? Before I come to you and I share with you my 2025 goals, I need to sit down, look at my finances, do the calculations, and then sit down and say, okay, this is my plan for 2025. This is how we're going to execute it. And I'm going to take the same strategy that I've been doing so far to say, instead of spreading myself too thin, I'm going to focus. So I'm going to be using on my journal now, this for 2025, it is now quarterly goal setting. So I'm going to be using quarters to basically plan for my goals, to say, okay, this quarter, this is what we're working on. This quarter, this is what we're working on. This quarter, this is what we're working on. There's a lot of money that's going to be spent in 2025, but I want to make sure that I'm planning for that I'm planning for such things. And I also think that I would love to buy myself a car in 2025. And if I want to do that, I need to plan for it. I need to budget. I need to see how much I would like to save, because I would also like to put down a deposit for that car, So there's just a lot of things that are going to be coming up, and I just want to make sure that my finances make sense. And if some things don't make sense, Ziapuma, we focus on the things that we know very well that we can be able to achieve, and say, this one we have done. I don't live in a make believe type of scenario when it comes to financial goals. Yes, when it comes to just setting a vision for my life and saying, this is what I want to desire, this is what I desire, manifesting, vision board, and so forth, I can do that. I can dream big. But now when it comes to action, I cannot say that I want to save $1 million next year when I know very well that my income is less than $1 million in a year. I can't. So I'm always practical when it comes to goal setting. Anything else, vision board and all the stuff, I can be, audacious and push myself to dream big. But when it comes to goal setting, guys, realistic, time bound. It must be time bound, must be realistic, it must be all those smart things, So that is my approach when it comes to goal setting. That's what I'm going to be doing. Don't forget to always smash that like button. As I said, if it's this one thing I'm going to ask of you, and I'm going to be hammering this next year, smash that like button. Asking you nicely, please smash that like button. It will do a lot for me. It will go a long way for me and this channel. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.